Hello, Nick. How are you?
Who's that, Phil?
It is, yes, it is.
Phil, how are you?
Very good indeed.
Where are you in Berkshire?
In Reading, in Caversham Monitoring.
Okay,
actually.
okay.
So,
Caversham, my word.
Caversham, yeah. So it's the home of the monitoring, where they're just monitoring.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But funny enough, I was just recently speaking to somebody called Stelling. I think he probably has the same experience as you at some stage.
Stelling? What, Jeff
Yes,
Stelling?
Jeff Stelling, yes.
Oh, yeah,
He
no, he was very... I took over from him.
Yes, you
because
did.
he got so much Sky work, I think he couldn't sort of carry on or something.
Oh,
You know, he was swamped because of those characters from Sky that left. Do you remember?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, and it was. He said it was, do I leave Rachel and go play with a load of footballers? And in the end, he went with the footballers. I gave him a serious talking to.
I know. I know.
Anyway.
No, I think he was. He and Rachel got a big football thing going. Actually.
Oh yes,
they're both
yeah,
big football fans.
Yeah, I mean it's great. Anyway, so we'll talk about you, and entrepreneurship and everything else. So
Yeah,
on the line
good.
Right now, let's speak to Nick Hewer.
Networking.
Networking, yes. I mean, it is business. I mean, okay, you need luck, you need skill, but is it who you know?
It's who you get to know. I think that's the point. And too many people sit in their offices fretting about where's the next contract coming from. Oh, what am I going to do? Oh, gosh, oh, dear. And then they turn the lights out and go home, and they come back next morning and fret about... They get out there. They should get out there and get their business cards out and spread the word. And the extraordinary thing amongst young, small businesses is that only 56%, now pin your ears back because this is amazing, yes. Only 56% of small businessmen have a business card. Well, frankly, they deserve to be spanked, because how can they possibly conduct a business without some sort of business card? Amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
And then when you've got one, you've got to get out there and get it out to the market through networking is as good a way as any, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you started your own business, PR, which so you're bound to say, PR is a really good idea, get the word around. But how is it that you spread the word? Especially when you started it, PR was sort of not one of those fashionable things that lots of people did.
Listen, it was a bit like admitting you were a burglar when I started. But nowadays, of course, it's everywhere. And the thing is, I guess I joined the Marketing Society, which was a very powerful group and may well still be, where all the marketing directors tended to congregate every month, and there were conferences and all the rest of it. Well, of course, they were my potential clients, so I made it my business to be at those meetings. Was I super confident? Absolutely not. And when I was a young chap, I would be seen hovering by the door, clutching a glass of orange juice, looking slightly frightened, while I looked upon a room full of people all chatting to each other and very, confidently. And I would say, look, they all know each other and I don't know anybody and nobody knows me. The truth of the matter is, they were networking. That's all. They didn't know each other. So you get a little bit of confidence, you join in a group, and hey presto, before you know what's going on, you feel at ease with people. And that's the trick. Not overconfident, but at ease. Get your argument right. Get your offer right. Your appearance is important. The way you speak is fairly important. And eye contact, a firm handshake, and a good business card, because that business card, will work for you in the months to come. That's the truth of it.
Yes, I suppose a business card like the fact that you're there, because any business needs a bit of luck, but actually you always have to make your own luck, don't you? And it's things like that, those little things that make your own luck, don't they?
Yeah, making your own luck is very important. But see, the business card, as long as it's well presented. And the research that we've done for Vistaprint, shows that people actually, once they've met you and have got your card, which represents you accurately, then they will come to you. And also people will say, oh, Harry, I know just the thing. I met a bloke the other day. I've got his card here somewhere. So news travels, and that's a sort of a third-party recommendation that's very important. People think, oh, well, I don't know, business, so got to get a designer in, and you've got to do this, and then go down to the printer. Rubbish. People like Vistaprint have got thousands of designs, and you can get 250 cards for under a tenner. And when I was young, I had these very expensive cards, and they were embossed and engraved, and they were very expensive. I was so horrified at the expense, I refused to give them to people. I would sort of half give it and then pull it back again, because I think, well, no, they don't look as though they're worth the pound I've spent on this card. Nowadays, 250 cards for £9.99. And, you know, it's quick and fast. No excuse not to have one. And that 44% of people that don't have business cards should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, so they probably rely on that electronic stuff, you know, that social media type business.
Yeah, it's not personal, though, is it?
No, it's not personal. The thing is that you understand how, you know, an entrepreneur, a businessman works. I mean, when you were day in, day out working, say, with Alan Sugar and The Apprentice, did it horrify you, the sort of entrepreneurs, the businessmen and women of the future, or were you actually genuinely impressed overall?
Well, I mean, when I was working with him, and he was a client of mine, he led a company from the top in such a way that everybody in that company, and there were subsidiaries all over Europe, they loved him because he was so tough, but he was direct and knew the direction the company was going in. You know, it was firm, fast, profitable, and fun, and that was the great thing. It was, I think, the happiest company I ever worked for. It was wonderful, and people stayed for years, yes. And they'd get beaten up every day, and they still would come back for more because they liked the loyalty and the direction and the directness of the whole thing.
Yes, you sort of know where you are with Lord Sugar. There is no sort of grey area, is there, with him?
He's the greatest communicator I've ever worked with. Actually, he's brilliant. There is never any confusion about what he wants.
Yes, so when he was tearing somebody off a strip during The Apprentice, he really was telling them off a strip, wasn't he?
Yeah, and in real life too. I've been at the sharp end of those.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Yes. Were you surprised? So here you are. You're doing Countdown and things like this. But the power of The Apprentice being on the television and what that did for you, because it sort of changed your life and changed your career and everything, didn't it?
Well, it did, and I'm very grateful for it. I mean, I fought against it quite honestly and quite genuinely. I really did, because I didn't think it was me, and I'm still confused as to why it's me, actually. But I'm blessed, and if you ever hear me complaining, because I am working very hard, and I'm no kid anymore. If you ever hear me complaining, you can give me a sharp tap on the ankle with your steel boot, because it would, show that I'm ungrateful, and I'm blessed. That's the truth of it.
Yes, and how are you finding Countdown? Because you are on your own. I mean, I suppose with The Apprentice you always had Alan or Karen or Margaret around and everybody around, whereas now you are the front man. Yeah,
it's a very friendly studio. Good people.
You've got Rachel, obviously.
We've got Rachel, we've got Susie, the producer Damien. It's a big crew, I think on studio days, the thick end of 30 people up in the gallery. We've got 6 cameras. We've got the sound guys, we've got stage guys. No, it's a big crew. But we've also got a very loyal audience. And it's an audience that stretches from young children, very young children, who are learning the ABC, watching it with their mums, and then the school children and students and the older people too. And we've got people working that get up at 5:30 in the morning to watch it before they go off to the factory. So it's a rock-solid part of the fabric of British life, really, and I'm very flattered that they asked me to do it, and I'm very honoured to be able to do it.
Just finally, just given what's going on in the world and the way business is, how do you feel? If you were coming into business now as a young man, what would you be feeling at the moment? Do you think actually it is actually exciting time, even though it's tough?
It is exciting. And just spend a second on The Apprentice. All those tasks which Alan Sugar, Lord Sugar, has to validate, has to agree to. They're all about starting up in business with very little money, as long as you've got creativity and focus and imagination and hard work. And the truth of the matter is, yes, we're in a terrible state at the moment. We're in a deep recession. Now is the time. Now is the time for people who've been laid off to say, I'll never let this happen again. I'm going to start my own thing so that I will be the master of my own destiny. And for young people coming in, yes, that's more difficult because they'll lack the experience. But to all those young people who love tinkering with cars or tinkering with motorbikes, or they like DIY, get on to the Vistaprint, website, vistaprint.co.uk. Get yourself a business card, all right? You don't have to spend a lot of money, maybe buy a little van. Go off, spread the word, build a business. There is no greater joy than running your own thing, to be able to support your own family and to start employing people who can support their own family. You don't have to end up owning British Steel or Virgin Airlines. Small business employing 5 people, that'll do. That's the backbone of this country, actually.
Yeah, well, all wise words. Nick, enjoy yourself on Countdown. I'll get myself a business card. That's the first thing I'll do.
Please.
And good to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.